Grace and peace to everyone watching. Today, we're going to dive into a powerful and hope-filled passage, Psalm 46, verse 1, which tells us, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. In times of uncertainty and challenges, this divine promise becomes a deep longing in our hearts. The psalmist reminds us that even in the storms of life, we can find shelter and strength in God. Let's explore together what this message means for us and how we can apply it in our daily lives. When the psalmist presents God as our refuge and strength, he is inviting us to understand the nature of God in difficult times. A refuge is a place of safety, a shelter where we can hide from external threats. Just as a bird shelters under its wings, we are called to draw near to God when we feel the world around us is falling apart. A fortress, on the other hand, symbolizes strength and protection. Life is full of challenges, but we have a God who not only watches over us, but stands beside us as a mighty defender. In 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, we read, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." It is in our weakness that God's strength becomes evident. We must learn to seek this refuge whenever we feel anxious or insecure. The second part of the verse reminds us that God is a very present help in trouble. This is an incredibly comforting promise. In times of crisis, we often feel alone, but the truth is that God is right there with us. He is not a distant God who merely observes our struggles, but a close friend who cares deeply for us. In Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7, we find an exhortation. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. When we surrender to God in prayer, He is ready to listen and intervene. It's important to remember that help may not come in the form we expect, but it always comes at the right time and in the way we need. How can we apply this powerful message in our daily lives? First, we need to acknowledge our need for God. Often, we try to face problems on our own, but we are invited to seek refuge in His presence. Create moments in your day to connect with God through prayer, meditation, or reading His Word. Remember that we don't need to have all the answers. We just need to have faith. Additionally, we need to cultivate a community of faith around us. The church is a place where we find support and encouragement. In Hebrews 10 verses 24 to 25, we are reminded to gather together and to spur one another on. Together, we can remind each other of the refuge we find in God. Finally, I want to encourage all of you to keep hope alive in your hearts. Distress and challenges are a part of life, but they don't define who we are. In Romans 8 verse 28, we find a promise that all things work together for good to those who love God. Even when we can't see the way out, we can trust that God is working on our behalf. He turns our struggles into testimonies of His faithfulness. So, as we face life's storms, let's remember that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble. May we surrender to Him, knowing that we are safe in His arms. As we close this video, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our channel, where we will continue sharing messages of hope and faith. May God bless each of you who watch today. May His peace and comfort be with you always. Amen.